Good morning. Welcome to another daily reading. This is Genesis 42 and Mark 14. I read from the Institute for Scripture Research, the ISR, because it takes a direct translation from Hebrew to English, Greek to English, and Aramaic to English. Yah is the Elohim of the heavens and the earth, the first and the last and the only. He's an extremely jealous El. He's so jealous that he doesn't even want the names of idols or mighty ones to come to our lips. Yah is short for YahWeh, YahWeh, Yod-He-Vav-He, Yahuwah. It's like saying Dan, Daniel with an E. What is a difference and does matter is when fools believe that Sam, Aaron, Bob, and Phil are the same name, when no, they're not, and no one in their right mind would ever believe that. And only a fool would believe that a hammer can force its creator to do anything, and there was no letter J in the Hebrew, Greek, or Aramaic text because the letter J is about 600 years old, while the son of Elohim, Yahushua, the Messiah, sweat blood and was brutally murdered and resurrected on the third day for the sins of all humanity over 2,000 years ago. In a direct translation from Hebrew to English, Yeshua, which is short for Yahoshua, means Joshua. And when you take a direct translation, isn't that funny when you take a direct translation that it's not Jesus? Wow. Anyone who thinks that Yeshua is Jesus are literal fools who do not research anything for themselves. They make that very clear. They listen to what their pastors tell them. That's foolish. How do you know what your pastors are telling you is true? Which is another reason why I like to listen to YRM videos, because they literally tell you, now that you've heard us do it, you should also research this exact same thing yourself. Alan Mansinger, great, love that guy. I can't remember the other people, sorry. Oh, Ryan was one of them. I think he's new. He's new to me. Anyways. And the son of Elohim's name, Yahshua, which is Yahoshua, means Yah is salvation. Yah will save his people from their sins. Now let's get right into this. Genesis 42, and when Jacob, Y-A-apostrophe-A-Q-O-B with a line underneath of it, which is James, saw that there was grain in Mitzrayim, which is Egypt, M-I-T-S-R-A-Y-I-M, Jacob said to his sons, why do you look at each other? And he said, see, I have heard that there is grain in Mitzrayim. Go down to that place and buy for us there, and let us live and not die. Of course, they're looking at each other because they sold their brother knowing he was going there. And now they're afraid to go there because what if he's, a ruler or something and he finds out? And Joseph's, Y-O-S-E with a half a check mark, P-H, Joseph, which is Joseph. And Joseph's 10 brothers went down to buy grain in Mitzrayim, but Jacob did not send Joseph's brother Binyamin, B-I-N-Y-A-M-I-N, with his brothers. For he said, lest some harm come to him, and the sons of Yisrael, Y-I-S-R-A-apostrophe-E with a half a check mark L, went to buy grain among those who journeyed. For the scarcity of food was in the land of Canaan, K-E-N-A apostrophe A-N. It was in the land, all the lands, all the world experienced it. And Joseph was the governor over the land. He was the one who sold to all the people of the land. And Joseph's brothers came and bowed down before him with their faces to the earth. And Joseph saw his brothers and recognized them, but he acted as a stranger to them and spoke to them harshly and said to them, where do you come from? And they said, from the land of Canaan to buy food. So Joseph recognized his brothers, but they did not recognize him. And Joseph remembered the dreams which he had dreamed about them, and said to them, you are spies, you have come to see the nakedness of the land. And they said to him, no, my master, but your servants have come to buy food. We are all one man's sons, we are trustworthy, your servants are not spies. Trustworthy enough that if you get jealous, you'll throw somebody in a pit and have them killed, or better yet, sold. That doesn't sound very trustworthy, although that was several years ago. But he said to them, no, but you have come to seek the nakedness of the land. And they said, your servants are 12 brothers, the sons of one man in the land of Canaan. By the way, a Hebrew, they're all Hebrew. And see, the youngest is with our father today, and one is no more. And Joseph said to them, it is it is as I spoke to you, saying, you are spies. By this you shall be proven. By the life of Pharaoh, you do not leave this place unless your youngest brother comes here. Send one of you, and let him bring your brother while you are kept in prison. So let your words be proven to see whether there is any truth in you, or else by the life of Pharaoh you are spies. And he put them all together in prison for 3 days. In prison for 3 days. Now Yosef said to them the 3rd day, do this and live, for I fear Elohim. If you are trustworthy, let one of your brothers be confined to your prison house, and you go bring grain for the scarcity of food of your houses, and bring your youngest brother to me, and let your words be confirmed, and you do not die. And so they did. And they said to each other, truly we are guilty concerning our brother, for we saw the distress of his life when he pleaded with us, yet we did not listen. That is why this distress has come upon us, more than likely. And then again, the prophecy was told to your faces before you did the act. And Reuben, R-E apostrophe U-B with a line underneath of it, E with a half a check mark, N, answered them, saying, did I not speak to you, saying, do not sin against the boy, and you would not listen? And see, his blood is now required of us. And they did not know that Joseph understood them, for he spoke to them through an interpreter, because he speaks Hebrew too, because he's a Hebrew. And he turned himself away from them and wept, but came back to them and spoke to them. And he took Shimon, S-H-I-M apostrophe O-N, from them and bound him before their eyes. And Joseph commanded that they filled their sacks with grain, also to put back every man's silver to his sack, and to give them food for the journey. And thus it was done for them. So they loaded their donkeys with the grain and went from there. And as one of them opened his sack to give his donkey fodder at the lodging place, he saw his silver, for there it was in the mouth of his sack. And he said to his brothers, my silver has been returned, and there it is in my sack. And their hearts sank, and they were afraid, saying to each other, what is this that Elohim has done to us? What do you mean? He gave you your money back so that you can buy grain again the next time. So they came to Jacob their father in the land of Canaan, and reported to him all that befell them, saying, the man, the master of the land, spoke to us harshly, and took us for spies of the land. But we said to him, we are trustworthy, we are not spies, we are 12 brothers, sons of our father, one is no more, and the youngest is today with our father in the land of Canaan. And the man, the master of the land, said to us, by this I know that you are trustworthy. Leave one of your brothers here with me, and take food for the scarcity of food of your households, and go and bring your youngest brother to me. Then I know that you are not spies, but that you are trustworthy. I give your brother to you, and you move about in the land. And it came to be, as they emptied their sacks, that look, the bundle of each man's silver was in his sack. And when they and their father saw the bundles of silver, they were afraid. And Jacob their father said to them, you have bereaved me. Joseph is no more, and Shimon is no more, and you would take Benjamin. All this is against me. He was literally already accepting that Shimon is no more. No, he's dead. I'm not giving up my son. He's dead. Wow. So Reuben spoke to his father, saying, take the lives of my 2 sons. If I do not bring him back to you, put him in my hands, and I myself bring him back to you. But he said, my son is not going down with you, for his brother is dead, and he is left alone. If any harm should come to him along the way in which you go, then you would bring down my gray hair with sorrow to Sheol, S-H-E apostrophe O-L, which is place of the dead. I don't believe the place of the dead is where the believers go. I think they just go asleep. The Sheol is for non-believers, sinners. They get sucked down there. I don't think YahWeh would send people who believe in him down there to wait. I think they would just sleep, like the word says. It's like a blink of an eye. You're dead and you wake, just like that. Mark 14. Now the Pesach, P-E with a half a check mark, S-A-H with a dot, which is the Passover, and the festival of Matzot, the festival of unleavened bread, M-A-T-Z-O-T, was after 2 days, and the chief priests and the scribes were seeking how to take him through treachery and put him to death. Well, they would have been able to put him to death if he didn't follow those, which is just proof he keeps the feasts as well. He keeps the Sabbath as well. He keeps his father's word as well. And they said, not at the festival, lest there should be an uproar of the people. And while he was in Beth Anya, Beth is B-E with a half a check mark, Y-T-H, Anya is A-N-Y-A-H, in the house of Shimon the leper, and sitting at the table, a woman came having an alabaster flask of perfume, genuine nard, very costly, and breaking the flask, she poured it on his head. But there were some who were much displeased among themselves and said, why was this perfume wasted? By the way, the person who said that was a hypocrite and a fool. For it could have been sold for more than 300 denarii, D-E-N-A-R-I-I, which is a Roman monetary unit, and given to the poor, and they were scolding her. But Yahushua said, leave her alone. Why do you trouble her? She has done a good work for me. For you have the poor with you always, and you are able do good to them whenever you wish, but you do not always have me. What she had, she used. She took it beforehand to anoint my body for the burial. Truly I say to you, whenever this good news is proclaimed in all the world, what this woman did shall also be spoken of to her remembrance. The good news is the Torah. And Yehuda, Y-E-H-U-D with a line underneath of it, A-H from Querioth, Q-E-R-I-O-T-H, one of the 12, went up to the chief priests to deliver him up to them. He was the one who also said, well, why did you waste that? Mr. Greedy for gain here. And when they heard it, they were glad and promised to give him silver, and he was seeking how to deliver him up conveniently. And on the first day of unleavened bread, when they were slaughtering the Pesach lamb, the Passover lamb, his taught ones said to him, where do you wish us to go and prepare for you to eat the Pesach? And he sent out 2 of his taught ones and said to them, go into the city, and there a man bearing a jar of water shall meet you. Follow him. And wherever he enters, say to the master of the house, the teacher says, where is the guest room in which I am to eat the Pesach with my taught ones? And he shall show you a large upper room furnished, ready, prepare for us there. And his taught ones went out and came into the city and found it as he said to them, and they prepared the Pesach. And evening having come, he came with the 12. And as they sat and ate, Yahushua said, truly I say to you, one of you who is eating with me shall deliver me up. And they began to be grieved and to say to him one by one, is it I? And another, is it I? And he answering said to them, it is one of the 12, he who is dipping with me in the dish. The son of Adam, A-D with a line underneath of it, A-M, is indeed going, as it has been written of him. But woe to that man by whom the son of Adam is delivered up. It would have been good for that man if he had not been born. And as they were eating, Yahushua took bread, having blessed, broke it, and gave it to them, and said, take, eat, this is my body. This is a remembrance. This is why you eat unleavened bread and drink a little bit of wine, is a remembrance of his blood and his body, his sacrifice, Yahshua's sacrifice. Yep.
I'm going.
Okay, I guess I'll wait for you because I'm only halfway done this.
Okay.
And taking the cup, giving thanks, he gave it to them, and they all drank from it. And he said to them, this is my blood, that of the renewed covenant, which is shed for many. Truly I say to you, I shall certainly no more drink of the fruit of the vine till that day when I drink it anew in the reign of Elohim. And having sung a song, they went out to the Mount of Olives. And Yahushua said to them, all of you shall stumble in me this night, for it has been written, I shall strike the shepherd, and the sheep shall be scattered. But after I am raised, I shall go before you to Galil, Galil. And Kêpha, Ke with a half a check mark, Pha, said to him, even if all shall stumble, yet not I. And Yahushua said to him, truly I say to you that today, this night, before the cock shall crow twice, you shall deny me 3 times. Excuse me. But he spoke more strongly, if I have to die with you, I shall not deny you. And they all said the same, and they came to a place called Gethsemane, Gethsemane. And he said to his taught ones, sit here while I pray. And he took with him Kêpha and Jacob and Yohanan, Yoh with a dot, Anan, which is John. And he began to be greatly amazed and to be deeply distressed. And he said to them, my being is exceedingly grieved, even to death. Stay here and watch. And he went on a little and fell on the ground and was praying that if it were possible, the hour might pass from him. And he said, Abba, Father, Abba, Abba, Father, all is possible for you. Make this cup pass from me, yet not what I desire, but what you desire. So what YahWeh desires. And obviously YahWeh desired the sacrifice. And he came and found them sleeping and said to Kêpha, Shimon, are you sleeping? You are not able to watch 1 hour? Watch and pray, lest you enter into trial. The spirit indeed is eager, but the flesh is weak. And again he went away and prayed and spoke the same words. And having returned, he found them asleep again, for their eyes were heavy, and they did not know what to answer him. And he came the 3rd time and said to them, are you still sleeping and resting? It is enough. The hour has come. See, the Son of Adam is being delivered up into the hands of the sinners. Rise up, let us go. See, he who is delivering me up has drawn near. And immediately while he was still speaking, Yehuda, one of the 12, with a large crowd with swords and clubs, came from the chief priests and the scribes and the elders. And the one who was delivering him up had given him a signal, saying, whoever I kiss, it is he. Seize him and lead him away safely. And going straight up to him, he said to him, Rabbi, Rabbi, and kissed him. And they laid their hands on him and seized him. And one of those standing by drew his sword and struck the servant of the high priest and cut off his ear. And Yahushua answering said to them, have you come out as against a robber with swords and clubs to take me? Daily I was with you in the set-apart place teaching, and you did not seize me. But let the scriptures be filled. And they all left him and fled. And a certain young man was following him, having a linen cloth thrown around his naked body. So around the person, the young man had a linen cloth thrown around his naked body. Fancy English on his and fancy English on body. And when they seized him, he left the linen cloth and fled from them naked. And they led Yahushua away to the high priest. And all the chief priests and the elders and the scribes came together to him. By the way, this is the tribe of Yehuda doing this. And Kêpha followed him at a distance even into the courtyard of the high priest. And he was sitting with the officers and warming himself at the fire. And the chief priests and all the council were seeking witness against Yahushua to put him to death. And they were finding none, for many bore false witness against him, but their evidences did not agree. Which means that they had nothing to go on, because he didn't violate the Torah. He didn't break Yah's commands. He destroyed and abolished the Torah, the teaching of men. the Torah of men, the teaching of men, the traditions of men, but he did not abolish Yah's commands and Yah's laws. And anyone who thinks that is a fool. You're fooling yourself. The word does not contradict itself. You are reading it wrong. And they led Yahushua away to the high priest, and all the chief priests and the elders and the scribes came together to him, and Kêpha followed him at a distance, even into the courtyard of the high priest, and he was sitting with the officers and warming himself at the fire. And the chief priests and all the council were seeking witness against Yahushua to put him to death, and they were finding none. For many bore false witness against him, but their evidences did not agree. And some rose up and bore false witness against him, saying, We heard him saying, I shall destroy this dwelling place that is made with hands, and within 3 days I shall build another made without hands. And not even then did their witness agree. Then the high priest stood up in the center and asked Yahushua, saying, Have you no answer to make? What do these witness against you? But he remained silent and gave no answer. Again the high priest asked him, saying to him, Are you the Messiah, the Son of the Blessed? And Yahushua said, I am, and you shall see the Son of Adam sitting at the right hand of the power and coming with the clouds of the heaven. And tearing his garments, the high priest said, What further need do we have of witnesses? I have heard the blasphemy. What do you think? And they all condemned him to be liable to death. And some began to spit on him, and to blindfold him, and to beat him, and to say to him, Prophesy. And the officers struck him with the palms of their hands. And as Kêpha was below in the courtyard, one of the servant girls of the high priest came, and seeing Kêpha warming himself, she looked at him and said, You were with Yahushua of Nazareth, Natsareth. But he denied it, saying, I do not know nor understand what you are saying. And he went out onto the porch, and a cock crowed, and the servant girl saw him again, and began to say to those who stood by, This is one of them. And again he was denying it. And after a little while, those who stood by again said to Kêpha, Truly you are one of them, for you are a Galilean, Galilean, too, and your speech is alike. And he began to curse and swear, I do not know this man of whom you speak. And a second time the cock crowed, and Kêpha remembered the word that Yahushua had said to him, Before the cock crows twice, you shall deny me 3 times. And thinking on it, he wept. And he could have easily been like, Yes, no, I am one of the 12. He could have changed his mind, but he didn't. Now, it's not that Yahushua made him do that. It's that he was already going to do it, and Yahushua knew beforehand and told him what was going to happen. Not that he made it happen. Thank you, YahWeh, for this day, and thank you for this daily reading. Yah bless.